Okay, now we're into the recording. Okay, so thank you very much for being here with me. This is the third conference call, and this is about nanotech, and this fits into the paradigm that I was just talking to people here about. Nice to see you. Yep. And if right now, if you could mute, and then as we move into the conference, what we'll do is we'll do a live question and response as I move through it. You'll just address me. But the paradigm is this. The first step is deactivating implants. The second step is demagnetizing your body. And the third step is detoxing nanomachinery. So we've gone over step 1 and step 2. We'll go over it 1 and 2 again at a later date. Today what we're doing is detoxing nanomachinery. And we're learning about why that's important and basically what that entails. Okay, so if everyone could mute themselves until they have a question. And what we're going to do is, as we move through this 35-minute clip that this previous video I've recorded, if anyone's got a question, unmute yourself and go, Onion Head or Andrew or something like that. I'll pause the video, then ask me your question, because this is going to be a lot of information very quickly. Very succinct, it's very compact, it's very dense. But it's very, very important that all of us here as targets and everyone in society eventually understands the nanomachinery that's currently in the population. Almost everyone in Western society is infected with nanomachinery. And a lot of people in the rest of the world are infected with nanomachinery. So really the only difference between a target and the general population when it comes to these directed energy weapons, nanomachinery, and how they fit together is implants and how hard they're being attacked. So I would say generally the general population is passively targeted and has been for a very long time. So anyways, what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch to screen sharing, and we're going to go
right. Sorry. Can you see me? Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. I show you. Sorry, I'm Italian, so I show you my I build this. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yep. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope it work well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're deactivating implants. That's step 1, everyone.
Yeah. Yep, and these two. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one I've used. That one too. Yeah, that's a great one. Okay, so hey, for right now, go ahead and mute yourself.
Well, I don't think so, because I'm under heavy attack, and they are using against me very hard electromagnetic pulse. So my body is literally burning. So the problem is that I burnt alive. So it's incredible. Anyway, I tried the diet, the detox for 3 days, also without drink and without food. But I don't know. Maybe I will retry.
Well, that's why I'm trying to tell you right now. If you mute yourself, and then we'll come back in when you have specific questions. We're trying to learn right now of what you're missing in the paradigm to give you the ability to move through this. It's a very dynamic situation. There's literally counterintelligence teams on every targeted individual. So if you could mute yourself, sir.
Sorry?
Could you mute yourself? There's a mute button.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I thank you. I appreciate it. And then, like I said, when any of us have questions about this information that I'm sharing right now, can everyone see that? Can someone respond and tell me if they can see it? Okay, good. And then can you hear it?
Yes.
I just see that other guy's stuff.
What's that?
I see the guy you asked. Oh, there. Okay. The other guy keeps popping up on the screen that you asked to mute.
Okay. It should be.
That's
it should be good now. Yes. Hi, Lillian. Okay, so we should be good now. Only host to share. Okay. So this is the first. Can everyone see this? My screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is from a video I did about 8 months ago. This is the most succinct understanding of nanotech and what it is. Okay, so I'm going to push play, and if anyone has any questions, I'll stop the video and we'll address them, because this is going to be a lot of information very quickly, and it's going to help everyone that's here immensely to understand this. The directed energy weapons in general do not work the way they're working currently without nanotechnology present, and that's why this is so important. Okay, so I'm going to push play now.
Mm-hmm.
No sound.
We can't hear you.
We can.
You can't hear it?
No.
Now we can.
Okay. Okay, so here's what okay, thank you for telling me. I'll just read it. Synthetic biology Morgellons, which Morgellons is a form of nanotech, so I should have put synthetic biology Morgellons nanotech. Infection, because that's what it is. It's a parasitical infection. It goes through many possible vectors. Usually with people, it's food, insect bites, and sex, and then I should have put chemtrails there too. It's usually through the air, the chemtrails. But for targeted individuals, when you're being routinely attacked with this weapon system, it's through the food primarily. And it's also through weaponized insect bites. And very, very rarely, but occasionally, it's through honeypots that will also be infected with this. It's awful, but it's true. At maturation, the synthetic biology, nanotech, grows crystalline lattice networks of biofilm full of nanosensors and arrays in most areas of the body. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that the nanotech, or the synthetic biology, which encodes for the nanotech that you breathe in, it goes to your upper intestinal area and stomach. From there, it steals the materials of your body, and in conjunction utilizes heavy metals that you've breathed or ate, which is very, very common attack that targeted individuals go through. And then it forms into these, what people have called on the internet wrongly, but they've called it regardlessly, hydrogels. Okay, so the idea of a hydrogel is better said as a messagen or crystalline lattices. And an easier way of thinking about all of this is that it's biofilm. It's plaque. It's like plaque on your teeth, but it grows throughout your body, and it's very, very smart. It can form many, many different machinery, right? So like it can form things that can transmit data. It can form things that receive data. It can form actual nanobots within, so more or less autonomous forms that can move around your body and then parasite other parts of your body. Okay, so right now we're just going ahead to the next slide. That's the first thing to understand about synthetic biology, Morgellons nanotech.
Andrew, can I ask a question here, please?
Yes, please do.
Can that simulate your DNA? Can it get anywhere near your chromosomes and things like that?
I do not know.
You have an echo.
I do not know. That's a great question. I do know that the COVID vaccines were specifically doing that. That's what the COVID vaccines were for, is to create this epigenetic or genetic change in your DNA that could grow components or the full nanomachinery array. I don't know, where that split remains. If it could do the full thing without the chemtrails, or if it still needed the chemtrails. And I think it probably still needs it, but I don't know. I'm not developing these weapon systems. Great question, though. Okay,
Andrew,
so yes.
Andrew, I have another question.
Yeah.
The weaponized mosquitoes or whatever, are they all over the place?
They will be. They will be in the future if these people have their way. As of right now, they're being bred and released in certain areas at certain times.
Okay. My second question is from your previous presentation earlier today.
the demagnetizing of the body with the capacitors and inductors. In past years, wherever I saw that I needed help with one area, I would apply these very thick ceramic magnets on these spots. So that was no good then, because they're magnetized, the ceramic magnets. What do you think about that?
Well, if you put this is completely different than what we're presenting right now, but I'll answer it very quickly, and then let's try to stay on point. And then afterwards, we can get into the minutia of previous things. But when you put the magnets, I will answer your question because it's good information for everyone. When you put magnets in an attraction pattern, meaning two magnets that are attracted to each other, in the space where they're attracted to each other, it creates a demagnetizing effect. So you can use that to break up nanomachinery, and you can use that generally to take the magnetism of your body down. Okay, so
but not with just a single block of a magnet. Then if it's not connected to another block of magnets. Then.
Yeah, you would need a array of magnets held in attraction, and when that was achieved, then that would greatly benefit you. In fact, I use magnets all the time in that way. I just haven't got over to covering it because this stuff's more important.
Yes.
Okay, so if we look right here at this this picture, what we can see is a filament. Okay, that's a smart filament. That's literally what's raining down on the population most days. Inside that filament, there's a red circle, and in the very center, there's a white dot. That white dot right there is the parasitical life form of synthetic biology, nanomachinery, in its smallest form. What happens is this filament breaks apart in either your lungs or your stomach, your upper intestines, I think everything, right, wherever it can. This filament will get into your body however it does, like McDonald's food, that type of thing, corporate food. And when it gets inside your body, this sleeve of the filament breaks apart, and these things come pouring out, all these little dots you can see in this picture. And all of these little dots grow this nanomachinery. And that's how the world's been infected, and that's why we're currently in a genocide right now. Targeted individuals are the cutting edge of that. Why these people have designed these weapons is so they can externally access you with directed energy weapons. If this nanomachinery wasn't in the population, the effectiveness of directed energy weapons would go way, way, way down. It's not that they wouldn't exist, because they definitely have since World War II or before it. I think World War I, honestly, but it's just that the effectiveness of the weapon system goes way, way, way down, and we'll cover why. It'll be pretty clear in just a second as we move forward. So these structures, when they grow in the body, graphene oxide is another thing that's in the chemtrails and another thing that's in corporate food. It makes the nanotech grow extremely quickly. If you're a targeted person, it's not just graphene oxide, though. It's a lot of heavy metals, a lot of synthetic heavy metal compounds are released in your near environment through various aerosols, and that's a whole nother conversation, which I do cover later on in this presentation. But we should kind of save that a little bit. When you breathe that stuff in, the nanomachinery, the heavy metals, first of all, get pulled to the implants. When they get pulled to the implants, the nanomachinery comes in right behind it and tries to glue all of it in place. And again, that comes from those smart filaments or the smart dust. The smart dust is the dots inside of the smart filament in a smaller form. But both of those things are used. Okay, so back to the synthetic biology. I know this is a lot, so jump in if you've got questions or ask me, and then we'll approach it. The synthetic biology nanomachinery, it cannot be classified as bacteria, archaea, or eukarya. That's the 3 domains of life. And that proves alone right there that this is lab-made. All right, so this is a super parasite that can encode for nanomachinery. The way I think of it, in general, about all the afflictions that come from it, is that it's a Russian doll disease. And if we know what Russian dolls are, it's a doll inside of a doll, inside of a doll, inside of a doll, inside of a doll. And that's what this is. It's diseases encoded in this synthetic biology, nanomachinery, over and over and over and over. Like at some point, the nanomachinery, synthetic biology, exhibits Lyme qualities. At another point, it exhibits, what's that one? Oh, geez. Everyone with the vaccine was getting it. It was like Lou Gehrig's, whatever, doesn't matter. So many different diseases can be attributed to
ALS.
ALS.
ALS. Yes.
Yeah, that was one people were, but that's not the one I was thinking of, but that's fine. There are so many diseases associated with nanotech. And in fact, mortality has gone up through the roof all over the world, and the true numbers are being hidden from us. I guarantee it. I just absolutely guarantee it, because as of 2020, all of this stuff that they've been doing since 1996 with the nanotech has increased 100-fold or 50-fold. I don't know. I'm not one of these people. All right, so moving forward, this is the crust of this. So this is the shell that forms around this bioplaque. All right, if you can see that, it's absolutely disgusting. It grows very, very quickly, and this is it in a Peachtree dish. And I believe Clifford Carnicombe incubated this for about 24 hours to get these results, right? Or 48 hours, something like a very short amount of time. So if you're targeted and you're noticing swelling, right, this is what's making your body swell. It's the buildup of this nanotech synthetic biology. And that's what it looks like. So when I say chains of polymers, this is the polymer chains that I'm talking about. It's this stuff right here that's causing you dandruff. It's this stuff that's causing your feet to swell, that's causing your face to swell. It's this stuff that can be accessed externally to send voltages or directed energy weapons currents deep within your body. This thing creates these little hairs so that go all throughout your body, which I have a picture of very soon. Right here, this next slide, this is the polymers wrapped up. So he took his, I can't remember what the name of that tool is, but it's a common tool for doing microscope work, and he just wrapped up the polymers to show you. If anyone remembers the white fibrous clots, what does that look like? That is the white fibrous clots that the embalmers and all the people a few years ago were talking about. It's still happening, and that's what it is. They said it had a calamari-like feel to it. So very, very strong, very dense compared to regular clots. Regular clots were like grape jelly. I don't want to get too far off on that, but the regular population, not just targeted people, has seen this clearly. All right, we just didn't know. They just didn't know what it was exactly, that it was all part of this directed energy weapons paradigm. Okay, so right here, what we're going to go to, this next slide, is it growing. And you'll see in a second how quickly it grows. Okay, so this is it over the span of, you can see at the bottom there's a timestamp, 1051, 1103, 1115, 1127, 1140, 1152, 1204, 1216, 1228, 1240. If you look closely, 1252, you can see all the hairs growing off of it, 104. This is at 450x, so imagine this happening everywhere in your body that nanotech has proliferated. And that's how fast this stuff grows. By 204, you can see completely new branches that weren't there at 11 o'clock. 240.
Can I ask a question, please, Andrew?
Yes, please do.
How would this be affected by hyperbaric oxygen therapy?
Oh, 100% helps. 100% helps. If you increase the oxygen saturation in your blood, it helps break this stuff apart. And we'll go over solutions at the end, right, after we get a firm, but that's a great suggestion for people to have access to it, after we get a firm foundation of what this is. And this is the big thing that most people are missing, whether targeted or not. This is the real thing that's going on in 2025. I'm not saying that World War III won't come to be, just saying that this is the World War III. This is the reason for it. This is the real push at depopulation. and everything else is going to be used to cover for that. Okay, so this next slide is it's food.
I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Was that hydrogel what we saw before?
That was
hydrogel,
that was the nanotech growing polymers and various nanomachinery within those polymers. Now, people have referred to that as hydrogel, and it's a bit of a misnomer, but it's the one and the same thing. Because the nanomachinery is actually much, much more than hydrogel.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what people, when they talk about it, what they're talking about, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we've got food. And I include this because this is a big, big part of this. Since 2020.
It's showing pictures, but I can't. I need a computer for it.
Yeah, well, hey, I can hear you. I will have this recorded, and you will be able to go back and watch this. Okay?
Oh.
It'll be on Onionhead Andrew Rumble, this full recording. So you'll be able to go over and even hear yourself talk right now. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so right now, what we're looking at is food. And the reason I brought in food as the next slide is because progressively, more and more food has been poisoned with heavy metals and synthetic heavy metal compounds, and actually nanotech itself, to help grow this within the population. I personally noticed it get absolutely out of control circa 2019, 2020. That's when the big initiative started. Here locally, most of the food is poisoned at the grocery store. And I know this because if I didn't do what I'm doing as far as demagnetizing my body, for example, when I eat this food, I will have a reaction. So, and it didn't happen overnight. It happened over, 2023. It would have been, or late 2022. I think it would have been September is when it started in earnest, when there started to become a big plurality of poison food. And by 2023, March, it was almost everything in the grocery store was poisoned. And this is Portland, Oregon area. Yeah, so it's not just, I don't know particularly how everyone's market is, where you're at. I do know that here on the West Coast, it's probably the worst for it. They want the depopulation here to be the most significant for various reasons that we could go over at a later date. Okay, so how they're doing this, poisoning the food, is they're doing it mostly through corporate additives so that it's all above the table. It's like this appeal that the Bill Gates companies is spraying over all the fruit. That is containing synthetic heavy metal compounds, and nanotech that's helping grow all this. But the people that are spraying on it have no idea what they're doing. They're just doing their job. That's how most of this is designed, by the way. This big genocide that we're currently living through. So this next slide, it's August 2022 to November 2022. That's when I noticed the most of it getting poisoned at once, but it continued, like I was saying. The particulates enter the food supply at manufacturing, distribution, and retailers. And what I meant by that when I put it up there is that the particulates associated with synthetic heavy metal compounds and heavy metal compounds. So if you're in one of these areas that's getting heavily poisoned, then deactivating the implants and detoxing nanomachinery will never be enough. You will have to keep yourself demagnetized 24/7 because you're ingesting magnetic material. And if you're ingesting magnetic material, then you can still be accessed externally with certain weapon systems like lasers, ultraviolet lasers, for example. Okay, go ahead.
I had a question. They could inject this into your body, right?
Yes, during break-ins. Great point. During break-ins, this is one of the things that they're doing. If you've got needle marks on you, that's one of the things they're doing. Yep. Foreign intelligence here in the United States, I don't know where everyone's at, but here in the United States, foreign intelligence is brought in to help poison the food supply in mass also. So the stuff that's not picked up through the corporate food processing systems is there's Israelis Chinese, Venezuelans, and Cubans primarily, although there is some FBI contractors involved. These are technically FBI contractors. They operate under security firms that contract through the FBI primarily. But what they're doing is they're getting these foods at choke points. So basically like food imports that aren't processed through, again, corporate food supplies. They're getting them at port a lot of the time, and they're getting them at various distribution like warehouses and whatnot. A lot of times beverage companies and food warehouses are heavily involved with this New World Order stuff. Not all the time though. And when they aren't, that's when they stick these private contractors working in these security firms on these warehouses and distribution points. And they literally go in there and they have these machines. They're like dryers, or they can even be car engines. And what they do is they dump a bunch of particulate into the gas tank or into the intake. And this particulate gets heated up, and then they use various weather weapons to move that particulate around the food. And because the particulate is so small, it penetrates deeply into the food. I've personally seen them do this in many places. For example, I was in Nicaragua in 2022, and I saw them start to do this in markets. And how they were doing it is they were targeting the trucks that had the fresh vegetables that were literally being pulled from people's farms in mass. So like the trucks would make a journey around and pick up all the food from the farmers, and the farmers would go to market, or not the farmers, excuse me, the truck drivers would go to market. They'd open the back of their tailgate, and at that point there would be people on the ground using weather weapons and particulate to guide this, and that was Israelis in Nicaragua, to guide this into the food supply. So they're poisoning people in mass, again, to help grow this nanotech. It's either in the chemtrails or the vaccine, depending what you got or where you are. In places like Nicaragua, go ahead.
What is a chemtrail?
A chemtrail is aerosol injections, which is to say particulate that's being dumped in the sky. It's very, very fine. It looks like a cloud.
Geoengineering.
Yeah, geoengineering is another word for it. I don't even bother with all the politically correct because it is what it is, but that's a way to say it. But either way, so in a place like Nicaragua, they didn't have much of the geoengineering or chemtrails, but almost everyone got vaccinated. So just keeping that in perspective, this is how they're doing it. They do it everywhere. Everywhere's a little bit different, but this is generally how it's happening. This nanotech proliferation within the body, individually.
Excuse me, Andrew.
Are you
Yep. Go ahead.
So you probably wouldn't be able to wash it off of an apple. You're saying it gets in, it penetrates? Like you probably wouldn't be able to get it off of the apple?
No, you won't be able to. That's the thing, is that the only clean food source that you'll find on a regular basis are private farmers in your local area. And when those people get big into exporting their food, then they will be targeted by these foreign intelligentsia that are being brought in here by the U.S. military and FBI to do this. This is what Agenda 2030 is really about. It's about poisoning the food supply completely so that you can't naturally detox the nanomachinery. But if you wanted to find clean food, and I suggest everyone do this, I've done this myself for years, is I go to local farmers and I try to buy what's in season. And not never, but most of the time it's not infected. Although, because of me sharing this information, these contractors working through private security farms will break into these farms after hours and poison their food supply as much as they need to. But that's another conversation about the counterintelligence techniques they're using and everything. This is why the U.S. military and FBI are bringing in all these foreign nationals. It's to do all this dirty work that the regular citizens wouldn't do. Because who would poison their own food supply besides like the most gone of gone people? Okay, number 3, water is tampered with. If you're a targeted person, what they do is they spray your pipes with synthetic heavy metal particulates that leach through. So it once you ingest this water, it operates like heavy metal compounds and helps build the nanotech. So a lot of you that are targeted, when you go to drink your tap water, will notice a reaction. And a lot of times they don't even have to do that. They do it at the municipal level. They do it to the whole tap water supply. Again, I saw that come to be 2022, 2023, 2024. So by 2024, I couldn't get tap water even from the farthest reaches outside of the municipal zones that I regularly did.
So if you get water, bottled water, you're good?
No, bottled water is infected too.
Will
Yeah,
filters filter out?
No, because it's very small scale. There is a way the nano that they're using to infect the water supply. There is a way to filter it out. There's many ways to filter it out, but you've got to more or less use natural methods, which is to like run it through rocks and gravel and dirt, and that will clean the nano out. The reason that I'm even presenting any of this information is because the moment that I realized how deep and far this went, I realized that everyone was going to need to know this information, because we're not going to be able to find all these little workarounds forever. Eventually, they're going to have enough people and enough places to stop clean water, wherever it is, or to stop clean food. Whoever's, can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Just making a, thank you, I appreciate it. But either way, so like getting clean water right now for anyone, your best source of clean water is wells. All right, you'll be able to find people with wells outside of any major city within like 30 minutes to half an hour, 45 minutes. And if you look up the municipal zones, usually the wells are licensed, so you can look up who has wells in your area, like how close your nearest neighbor is, and potentially someone you know or something like that, and you can get lots of clean water that way. That's what I used to do.
And if you boil, hello, Andrew, this is Jacqueline, and thank you for being here and all the information you're presenting for all of us. If you boil the water, would that help?
No, it would not. I've tried steam distilling, so like the next level of that, where you boil the water to steam and then bring it back down in a vapor, and I still couldn't get all of it out. I got a lot of it out, but I couldn't get all of it out. Okay, so number 4, human traffickers and citizen informants release synthetic heavy metal and heavy metals and synthetic biology particulates into the breezeways around your house. Now that's what I've been covering.
Yeah.
A big part. Most targets have
a lot of dark dust all over my floor, and they put it on my sofa, the beds.
Yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. They're releasing this particulate because once you breathe this particulate in, it helps grow the nanomachinery inside of you. That's the whole thing about it. And you know what? Most of the people doing this, like releasing this crap in your area, don't even know why they're doing it. They don't know the nanomachinery part of it. They just think it's like debilitating you to breathe this stuff, which it is. But they don't understand that they're literally poisoning themselves at the exact same time they're attempting to poison you. That's how sick this whole thing is. It's a real genocide, and targeted individuals are at the cutting edge of it. Everything is aimed at us or targeted survivors, but really, we are just the focal point. It's being done to everyone all the time. Okay, and
they turned on like these engines in the nighttime, and then my windows get that powder, that black powder.
Great, that's such a great thing for you to say, because that's what I was saying earlier. They put this stuff into the gas tank. It goes through the gas tank, through the fuel injectors, into the engine, gets really hot because of combustion, goes out the exhaust, and at that point, once it goes out the exhaust, it's very easy to control it and move it into your breezeways using weather weapons. So the drones, the small airplanes, that's primarily what they're doing. It's not all they're doing, but that's primarily what they're doing, is pushing and pulling and guiding this chemtrail stuff. Because it's all chemtrail-like particulate that they're putting in the gas, their gas tanks, or a lot of times they're releasing it from these like little heater devices. They look like little boxes, and they just put it in the top of it. I've seen it a few times, and then they use piping that comes out the side, and they direct it out of there. This is the contractors, the security firm contractors that are contracted through the FBI primarily that I'm talking about, and not just the dumbass citizen informants, excuse my language. But they'll dump it into this machine. It will get heated up just like it would in a gas engine, and then it will come out the pipe where they want it to. And they'll try to aim the pipe as close to your breezeways as possible so that the directed energy weapons only need to push the particulate, the magnetic particulate, so far to get into your house. And again, the whole, that's it's a sick system. And at the same time, everyone in your neighborhood's getting poisoned. Everyone's getting poisoned because the fallout, it doesn't just hit you. It hits your neighbors, even your spook neighbors. It hits people that, they're infected with nanotech, and they're also currently being killed too. That's how dumb this whole thing is, how far this has gone, right?
They've been putting fungus on my windowsills, like a black fungus, and I keep taking it out with Clorox, with bleach.
Okay, that's another great statement. The black mold, or the mold in general, is not something. Right. Yeah, it's not usually something they're doing directly. It's an indirect effect from the heavy metals. Mold eats heavy metals. So when heavy metals cling to something and they're nano-sized, you're barely going to see them, right? You're only going to see them when they form these dusts. At that point, mold wants to go form in those spots and start eating it up. That's what mold does. Yeah, it eats heavy metals. That's why you'll have those on your windowsills, because they're aiming these particulates to move through the seals of your window. So it's going to build up, because that's your breezeway. It's going to build up and you're going to breathe it.
I was wondering if you would talk about the fan and if that's still important, or what that would be doing to the dust, or what direction you would have it. Are you still using it?
Oh, the fan. So, yeah, I can bring that up very quickly. The fan, what did I call that? It doesn't matter. You put copper on a fan and you spin the copper on the fan. You just turn the fan on. What that does is it helps. It's not the cure-all by any means, but it helps demagnetize all the particulate in the area. And depending how many... What's that?
Are you still using it?
Yeah. I've always got 3 ceiling fans running, all 24/7.
I have one fan, and I've never quite known what direction to point it.
Well, you don't have to be near it. It's not the wind flow that's helping you. It's the spinning of the copper. It literally has a demagnetizing effect. It creates these scalar waves. It's complicated. But that effect can go as far as a quarter mile on some days, depending on the fan and how fast and how much copper is being spun. But probably if you're using a box fan, it's probably about, 4 or 5 houses in any given direction it's affecting. So it just helps.
And I was just thinking of
Andrew,
hold on one second. She's still talking.
Is the fan blowing all this nano dust into the air more?
Well, yes, because there's a fan, it can blow it around. But at the same time, it's demagnetizing it, so it's helping it fall to the ground.
Okay.
Which you want it on the ground. You do not want it, because we're talking about lighter than air particulate. So it will literally hover there.
I have a question. Where do you put the copper in the fan?
There's a video on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, and it's called DIY Scalar Device Workshop. It'll show you exactly how to build it.
Okay.
Andrew,
go ahead.
Yes. Do ozone generators and ultraviolet lights for to purify. Do these things help?
I'm not sure about ionic generators would help because it would do the same thing but not as effective as spinning copper. But I'm not sure about the other.
Okay. And the ultraviolet lamps to sanitize the room, are they helpful?
I don't know, because oftentimes ultraviolet is weaponized and it helps polarize directed energy weapons, or nanotech behind our eyes. So I don't think you should be looking at ultraviolet or have it on more than for just a second.
Are you still using infrared?
And the air ducts that we talked about, the air ducts, how can they access them from outside the house? The
magnetic.
Air ducts.
It's because they've magnetized the particulate they're releasing, and then they're using directed energy weapons to guide that particulate into your air ducts or your AC or your window or whatever.
The air ducts. Okay.
Yeah. And then I heard, was this the infrared question?
Yes.
Yes,
Are you still using it?
Yes, I still use it. I only use it when I absolutely need it because they've changed some frequency and I haven't adjusted the brace that helps demagnetize me. So once I adjust the brace, yep.
Are you gonna go over like demagnetizing? Because we talked about the conduction, the wrapping of the foil and the selenium, but what about, does that, like, can you make a list of like the fan, grounding, all the things that demagnetize you?
Well, okay, so if you go back to live conference call number 2 on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, I made a presentation about it, about where everyone should start.
Talked about the tinfoil and saran wrap idea.
Yeah, with the coiled wire, because that's way more powerful than it's actually more powerful than grounding, believe it or not.
Okay.
That's so if you're going to start somewhere, start with building those braces, because that will give you the. Yep.
What gauge wire are you using?
Hold on one second. I got your question, but let her finish.
I have questions about what the copper, what is it, coiled or how many strands, things like that about the copper. And then I had some difficulties with the saran not sticking and the foil. Like I made it a few days ago and it already looks like a complete mess.
Okay, so real quick to address your, and I heard your other question too, but the difficulty coming from utilizing or making a brace is just you're gonna get better and better at making it. But the coiled copper wire, you coil that around yourself. All right, so that's the first place that you should start. And for whatever gauge you want, you can use whatever gauge you want. The thicker the gauge.
Like you're wearing a slinky, kind of.
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
Or you're
start there, and you will see what I'm talking about. The induction.
No, I have copper all over me right now, so I'm right there with you in experimenting with this.
Okay, good.
So I have some copper, and I have a drill, and I also have copper that I just twist with my hands, and I also can take a really smooth round stick and wrap it, and then pull it off the stick, and then I have a coil. So there's a difference between like a coil like a slinky, or then spun like you do with the drill, or just twisting it with your hands.
Okay, so if you're building, and I want to get back on point after this, and then we can at the end we can go back over this. But the coiled copper wire is what I mean is it's not twisted. It's literally like a slinky around you. And you can do that concentrated, so it's like a ring, or you can do it like a slinky. You're going to want to fiddle with both like you are right now. If you make it into a ring,
okay. If I was wearing a copper helmet, it would be coming out like a coil around my belly, or am I just coiling wire around my belly?
You would just be coiling wire around your belly. But if you end up making a ring shape, right, then you can put the capacitive layers over it, which is the saran wrap and the aluminum foil. Now, you had another question?
Okay, I'll stop.
Okay, you had another question about the aluminum foil falling off. You can use aluminum tape. Aluminum tape can be found.
It's the saran that's not sticking to the aluminum. And it's not even sticking very well to itself.
What, the plastic wrap?
Yeah. Usually it sticks like you can't even undo it, but it's like it wasn't wanting to stick to the aluminum. And so I was taping the edges like you did, but it's working okay. It works better when I wrap it around copper. When I tried to make a flat thing and then wear it, it's gotten super wrinkly with holes in it and stuff.
Yeah, and that's best practices. I'll try to make another video showing these different ways. Did you deactivate implants? Have you done that yet?
I'm waiting for my device that hasn't shown up yet.
Okay, this is why I said number one step should be deactivating implants, because as much as you, I'm glad that you're going to do it. Because let me finish this thought real quick. Because if you don't, if you focus on demagnetizing before deactivating, you only get about half the benefit out of it. But you still get some benefit. But the deactivating implants is crucial, because everything comes right back if the implants are still working. What was the other question?
One more quick thing, and then I'll pass it on.
Okay.
I live in a small cabin with a cast iron wood stove in the middle, and I'm the one that said they were laying iron all over the ground outside. And today I took a bunch of copper, like a bunch of copper electroculture sticks that I've made, and then just some random copper coils and stuff, and I started laying it like across the top of my cast iron stove. And I think like the iron in the middle of my house is a huge part of how they're electromagnetically attacking me. So, and that's my only heat and how I cook and everything.
Yeah, that could be the case, and maybe we can go over this at a later point, but we got a bunch of people here, so.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Andrew?
Yes, go ahead.
Once you run the fan and all that stuff drops to the ground, a majority of it drops to the ground, how would you clean that up off the ground sufficiently?
The best solution we have right now, it's not great, but is degreaser. Degreaser picks it up better than anything. Okay, was that everything?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to keep moving forward. So we were at air particulate attacks, and now we're going to go into human traffickers and citizen informants release synthetic heavy metals, particulates into the breezeways around your house. The particulate is driven into your airways using various weapon systems. We already covered that. Okay, moving forward. Because you guys have lots of questions, so. 5. All ingested synthetic heavy metals and heavy metal particulates are pulled by directed energy weapons that polarize the body to deposit the particulate material into critical areas of the body and brain. Now, those critical areas are the implants. That's what implants are doing. So let me say that again, because this is huge. All ingested synthetic heavy metals and heavy metal particulates, whether you eat it or breathe it, or let's say like chemtrail or corporate food, are pulled. So they're pushed and pulled by directed energy weapons. And those directed energy weapons, they're polarizing the nanotech to do this. And they deposit the particulate, so whatever you've ingested, into the critical areas of the body and brain. And those critical areas are the implants. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I don't understand it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the nanomachinery and the heavy metals and synthetic heavy metals, they're forming an array underneath your skin into the organs of your body, your brain, your heart, your liver, your kidney. And when they hit you with a directed energy weapon, what's happening is the outside of your body is becoming magnetized in that spot, and it's creating a chain reaction that sends electricity along that nanomachinery and heavy metals into your body. And that array is controlled by the implants more than anything. The implants are the nodes or the anchors of this artificial nervous system. And the directed energy weapons are electrifying it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
My daughter's getting attacked with that a lot, and it made her get schizophrenia and into
I'm
a
sorry,
rage.
I can't hear you.
No, I said my daughter is getting attacked with that a lot on her head.
Yeah.
And it's creating delusions. I think she must have the implants because she's not herself.
Every person, or 99%, I shouldn't say every person that's targeted, has these implants. And these implants, they're so small. It's smaller than hair, and they use these crazy sci-fi weapons to shoot them into people. They use magnetic rail guns. Okay, so they can shoot these things through walls, through windows.
Yep, they're doing that to us for sure. The neighbors and everything.
Yeah, these spook neighbors.
Yeah.
They literally. Yeah.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, what is these thin little black hairs that you find all over the place, or the little black specks?
The little black specks.
Uh-huh.
I know exactly what those are. The little black specks that come out of your body is nanotech. That's nanotech being injected from your body.
Now, if some of them are round and the other ones look like some kind of speck, like shaped like something. So both of those are nanotech, right?
Yes, that's just different forms.
I see. Now, the long black string that you see, or like any kind of like long stringery that tends to be in different parts of your car or house or on your clothes or happen to be on your body and stuff like that. What is that? Is that nanotech too?
Probably. I don't know for sure. I'd have to see what you're talking about, but it's probably clumping of smart filaments. Probably, but I don't know.
Oh, possibly. Okay. So, yeah, I see. And what makes it come out the skin? Is it the detox, or it's just literally coming out your skin? The nanotech, the little black dots?
Yeah, the little black dots come out your skin when your body is so full of this crap that it just starts pushing it out. When you go, I personally had that experience really heavily a few years ago, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's basically the black material is the nanotech and heavy metals rolled up, and the compressionary forces of your body just force it out through the skin or your pee, poop, sweat, whatever.
I see. Okay.
Okay, we're going to keep moving forward. If everyone understands this massive concept here, there's going to be a diagram in a second. So the nanostructure is piezoelectric, and what that means is that it generates electricity whenever it's squeezed. Okay? That's what piezoelectric means. So,
can you repeat that?
Yes. And somebody's got some noise happening right now. It's like a wind sound. Could everyone make sure they mute themselves? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. The piezoelectric and crystalline structures in biofilms, this is what that means, is that the biofilm, the hydrogel, whatever you want to call it, It's got a piezoelectric quality to it, which just means that when it's squeezed or compressed or put in a tensive state, it generates electricity. And that's more or less how this electricity is being transferred from these magnetic directed energy weapons into the nanotech and into your body. So that's all. The only point I brought that up was to say that there's a provable theoretical or a theory at play here. This is not guesswork. This can be reproduced very easily with this nanotech. Okay, and this is just some points about. Go ahead.
Does it help to wear, for instance, clothing that has lead and other stuff to protect your body from entry?
Yes, it does. But what helps better is not to shield, but to dissipate the electromagnetic frequencies using induction and capacitance, which is what we covered in the last video. That helps much, much more. But yes, it would help to wear lead.
Yeah. And is it this crazy multiple things sent to us insanely like this? Are they doing this to everybody now or just to selected, targeted individuals?
What do you mean by sent to us? I'm not sure. I didn't understand.
Well, we're talking about everything that is being used against us, like the nanodust, like the gases, like the moving the products through the air vents, everything that is crazy, accumulation of different things. Are they doing this to every person or just selected, targeted individuals?
So this goes into the counterintelligence part of this conversation. They do this to people in a way to keep them in a state of fear. Because what these counterintelligence operators, these private security firms, what they think they're doing, and they are in some ways, is developing mind control weapons. All right? So that's how they're going to be approaching this from. But really what they're really doing is they're collecting data on every targeted person and sending them off to the people that are doing this at the very top. And the people at the very top are developing ways to autonomize this whole system. So to answer your question, most targets are going through all the things we've been talking about and are aware of half of them or more. Some targets, though, that are just freshly been targeted or are fulfilling mind control objectives, like it's usually sex stuff, not to be a creep, but that's totally what it is normal time. When they won't be targeted with all the weapons, but they'll be targeted more specifically with some of the weapons. I'll give you a little example. I come across people that have been honeypotted quite often, and their boyfriend or husband, usually, because it's usually a woman, is poisoning their food supply, right? So they don't need to be hit with the weather weapons because their food supply has got so much of this crap in it. And that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean when I say sex stuff. It's usually that type of thing. It's usually a husband or boyfriend. It's a private contractor, but, that goes on and on. It's very sad, very disgusting. Okay, so this nanotech, it grows in pockets of inflammation the easiest. In pockets, so what's a pocket of inflammation? Say if you've got chronic back pain before targeting, right? That area of your back would be electromagnetically prone to growing more nanotech in it. Okay, so that's what I mean with pockets of inflammation. These pockets over time don't always form tumors. And the tumors over time can, but not always, form turbo cancers. Okay, so we heard a lot of talk about that in society about these turbo cancers. Turbo cancers are not real. The turbo cancer is nanotech. So you can see how many people this is really killing. It's truly a genocide. I'm not just saying that. The nanotech can change the shape of your face and body because it causes swelling when it grows into you. Because it's like a plaque. It's like a plaque on your teeth, but in your body. So it's going to cause swelling all over the place. It can change your posture. It can make you walk with a different gait, or basically get in the joints of your body. That's what a lot of the joint pain is about that people have. It's this nanotech getting in there. And then once it's in there, again, it can be externally accessed with directed energy weapons. So the private contractors doing this to you might recognize that and might utilize that. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Do these tumors start? Could a tumor start out? A tumor could start out as like a little cyst, a benign something, right?
Yes. Normally, it starts off as like what looks to be a pimple or zit.
I mean, inside, in your neck or something, you could have a little cyst, and then that could become. And also, wearing a mask outside doesn't help at all, right? From the.
It does help somewhat, even in your house, but it's very negligible. But it does help somewhat. If you're getting gassed really bad, it's not the worst idea to put on an N95.
Well, can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I noticed this smell. It's like pork, like cooked pork. And I know that I looked it up, and there was some kind of poison. I don't know if it was a neurotoxin, but some kind of poison that had a similar smell. But I guess they do use all kinds. And it was coming into my window one night, and I've noticed it a lot of times out, when I'm out. And, have you heard anything about anything like that?
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about just a second ago. That's the same thing.
What I mean is that particular smell, like a pork smell.
I know what you're talking about. They will use whatever scent that they can to make plausible deniability. All right, I'll give you a little example. I used to live with a bunch of people, a family, and when two of them used the same shampoo. So during a break-in, they recorded this shampoo, whatever it was, I can't remember, like a VO5 or something. And so when they used the shampoo, my family members, the people would scent the chemtrail particulate the same scent as the shampoo, so that everyone in the house wouldn't go, we're being gassed. They would just go, wow, that's a really strong shampoo smell.
Right.
Yeah, it's very clever, very clever. It's counterintelligence. Yep. And that's the idea, right? To counter your intelligence, right? So that you don't figure out what's going on. That's why I keep repeating that, because that's the real philosophy behind all of it. So that you can't understand what I'm teaching you right now. If you already know it, I don't mean to sound smug about it. That's not the point.
No, I know. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome. So this nanotech, when it gets in these pockets of inflammation, it can be triggered, like I've said a few times now, and that's what's causing the muscle spasms. The muscle spasms is the nanotech being heavily electrified or magnetized and causing a rapid oscillation, basically a shrinking and expanding of the nanotech itself. And that's what's caused the muscle spasms. So the muscle spasms aren't just directed energy weapons. It's that nanotech too. And in general, the nanotech has to be there to increase the voltage or the electricity that can be brought into the body. So without the nanotech there, the torture or their attempts to torture would be negligible. With the nanotech there, it can literally kill you. All right, and again, this is why targeted individuals are at the forefront of all of this, because they're developing these weapon systems for the general public to finish this genocide that they've started. Okay, so 6, pathways of polarization. What I mean by a pathway of polarization is that nanotech being magnetized or electrified, whatever you want to call it, with the directed energy weapons. So pathways of polarization are created throughout the body and brain along synthetic biology, nanomachinery, crystalline structures. The crystalline structures are the hydrogels that people talk about, and more than that. But they can be linked together and piezoelectrically stimulated by directed energy weapons. Okay, so that's a lot of hoo-ha about what I've already said. That's the scientific way to say what we've already been talking about. The longer the crystalline structures or the nanomachinery chains or the artificial nervous system, again, or hydrogel, whatever you want to call it, the longer it is, the more of it in your body, the greater electricity can be transmitted to your organs, including your brain, of course. And this is also how they're penetrating the blood-brain barrier, is they've got these arrays of nanomachinery going through that. So they can send the voltage from the bottom of your left foot all the way to the top of your left head, or left part of your head, excuse me. We don't have two heads. Okay, so here I've got a little picture, and it's just a quick diagram kind of showing what I've been talking about. The red circles are pockets of inflammation that I talked about earlier. The red lines are the nanomachinery chains, the polymers, okay? So this is what they're attempting to do to every targeted individual. They're attempting to create nanomachinery arrays from your left foot to the top of your left head. Now, I have heard a few other people that said their right part of their head was being targeted, but that's really, really rare. Usually it's the left part of the head, and the reason for that is because of the way the brain works, more or less. In the blue areas, I made these blue circles for everyone who can't see. You'll notice that you'll have these cold spots on your body. Like it'll be really cold on you, like say your arms or something like that. A lot of that is from two things: heavy metals and nanomachinery that gets trapped in the lymphatic layers and is not being polarized currently. That'll make you very cold. And the other thing is that when this weapon system is being turned on to you or tuned into you, probably better stated, it literally steals the electrical capacity of your natural body and redirects it into these artificial arrays to torture you. So that's why a lot of people are freezing all the time that are targeted. Those two things. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah, when they target my daughter, I just wanted to share this. When they target her head, her lips get white, and then her extremities, like the hands and the feet, get real cold.
Okay, so that's exactly what we're talking about. The first thing you want to do with her is deactivate those implants. So get that EMP built.
How do I do that?
Go to Onion Head Andrew on Rumble, and I've got a few videos. Just look for a little bit older of a video, Stun Gun EMP. Should be like 8 videos ago or something like that. And then you can get an idea, and then my email is listed there too. And you can email me for more directions if you need it. And I'll be glad to help.
Hey, Onion
What's
Head?
your email?
It's listed. Go to Onion Head Andrew on Rumble.
Oh, okay. It's listed there.
Yeah, it's listed below the video. You're welcome.
Onion Head. Onion Head.
Yes.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah, of course.
That person you just talked to, she needs to mute her phone because we can hear it out here. While you're talking, it's very distracting. So she needs to do a *6 on her phone to mute. If she's not going to, if she talks, then she can do *6 and talk. If she's not talking, she needs to do a *6 to mute so we don't hear her out here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Will.
I did not know the *6. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's 0747. You need to do a *6 on your phone. The lady that just talked, it's do *6.
You hear a sound coming from my phone?
We hear activity coming from your phone. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. *6, you said, right?
Right. *6. Sorry about that, Andrew.
No. I greatly appreciate it. Anything that helps people understand what we're talking about here. Okay, so moving forward, let's see. So I go back to talking still about the pathways of polarization. Now that's the biggest concept here with the nanotech. So if anybody's got any questions about what we just covered, now is the best time to do it. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So each one of them spots, which is called the lettuce, the thing that you said you can make to deactivate the implants. Do a 10th unit do the same thing? You know what a 10th unit is?
Yes.
The thing that you put on you?
No. Okay. So what a TENS unit does is it breaks up these nanopolymer chains. Okay, but it does not detox them. So they'll just all those little hairs that I showed at the beginning of the presentation. I can go back right now if you need.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I'll go back right now just for this. You can see it grow. This is it growing right here. The nanotech. Okay, I'll just play this. All these little hairs right here, when you put a TENS unit close to them, it stops them from growing into each other. But this is the big but about TENS units, is you are ultimately providing energy to the nanotech to further grow. So in the short term, it can help you. In the midterm and long term, it can very much hurt you. So be careful how you use it. Yeah, be careful how you use a TENS unit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was a great question.
Oh, I'm listening. What else?
What's that?
I said I thought you were saying something else. I'm all ears. I'm listening.
The implants are not affected by the TENS unit at all. The implants that you need to build, you need to have an EMP device to deactivate those. Those are two different things. You're welcome. Okay, so electromagnetic fields converge with dielectric capacity creates electricity. This is just theory. We're not going to get too far into this. This is electrical theory. It's important to know as a targeted person, but it's just a bit much for right now because there's so much information here. By the way, this is all from a presentation I made, about 8 months ago. It's called Surviving Neuroweapons. So if you want to go back and watch the full presentation, I recommend you do so. It will greatly help you. So 7, inflammation is directed using directed energy weapons, software programs, and personnel for specific outcomes at specific intervals. Nanosensors built by synthetic biology inform AI machine learning of your status. Okay, so that's a lot, right? A part of this we've already covered almost ad nauseum now, a lot. And that's that directed energy weapons are accessing, electrifying these nanomachinery arrays. But what we haven't covered, because there's not been a lot of public disclosure about, and I don't have any special information, is the software programs that are ordering this. Like I know Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, what's the other ones? Palantir. They're all involved in building, utilizing these software programs, but I don't know specifically how. So I haven't really delved too far into that. The nanosensors contained, so the nanomachinery builds many things. It doesn't just build the polymers. That's the main thing it does. The polymers that connects the artificial nervous system that can be accessed. It does more than that. It actually creates different types of nanomachines. And some of these are sensors. And some of these sensors transmit data out, and some of these sensors receive data. When you're full of nanomachinery, you have an operating system within you. Again, that's the Agenda 2030 crap that Klaus Schwab was really talking about. When he was saying that it's not about the technology that you use, it's about the technology that will be in you. This is what he was talking about. They'll tell you everything besides how. And right now we're going over how. Again, this is a genocide, and this is much, much, much bigger than targeted individuals. It's just targeted individuals are on the cutting edge of it. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, so the true nature of targeting. Go ahead.
And I did, right, but can I email you? Because I'm trying to put this together in 5 words or less. So can I email you about the whole system? Because I've got things planted in walls and perps around me. So I wanted to sort of email you and ask you privately if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. There's an echo.
Okay, I understood though the caller's question. Yeah, if you go to Onion Head Andrew Rumble, you'll see my email listed below any of the videos. So
yeah, I've already communicated with you, so I've already introduced myself. I'll just do it on that if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, send me an email, and that goes to anybody listening. Yep.
Yeah, can I just say to that lady, sorry about the echo, but I've got loud music on and I'm just harassing my perps. It's midnight here and I'm just giving them a hard time. So sorry about the echo.
Oh, you're fine. Thank you. This goes for anyone that needs any of the information that we're going over or more help with the EMP device. Now, I'm thinking that, just as a side note, that we should do a workshop, a stun gun workshop next week. And so everyone get your materials ready, because that's what we're doing. Next week, we're going to do a stun gun EMP DIY course. So everyone's going to come here with hopefully a camera, and we're going to do this as a big group, and we're going to figure out how to build these. The materials needed are listed on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, but I'll go ahead and I'll list them off right now because we're on a tangent. Why not? You need wire. So everyone that wants to do this, grab a pen. I'll give you a few seconds. Obviously you need a stun gun. The best stun guns to get are the ones with nice switches. And what I mean by that is the switches are toggle. So they're not push button, they're toggle. Those are the best ones. The push button ones have a tendency to fail, but sometimes they don't. So you need a stun gun, number one. Number two, you need wire. The wire is 20 to 24 gauge, braided or magnetic. So you can get braided wire, 20 to 24 gauge, or magnetic wire, 20 to 24 gauge. Either one will work. The next thing you need is a stick, like a ruler or like a paint mixing stick, something like that size. You don't need those particular things. You can use a spatula if you want, a wooden spatula, but it should be wooden or plastic for its insulative properties. And then you just need glue and cardboard. You can use, if you don't have glue, you can use tape. So I'll repeat that again. A stun gun, preferably one with a good switch, some wire, 20 to 24 gauge braided or magnetic, some glue or tape, and cardboard and a stick. I can't remember if I said that again, if I said that twice or not. Sorry.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What's a toggle? Can you talk more about a switch or a button or a toggle? I don't know what that is.
A toggle is something that's got pressure on it, so you push it down. If you Google a toggle switch, you'll see, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But,
you emailed me a link to get a stun gun, and I went to that link, and I just ordered the first thing that I saw. Do you know what the average to be? It was very cheap, like $14.99. It was for women self-defense.
Yeah, it should have been a toggle switch if we emailed. I wouldn't have emailed you a push button one.
Well, you emailed me a link, and I just went with the first one I saw.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I emailed you a toggle, because I wouldn't have emailed you a push button. Okay, so...
Sorry, Andrew, it's Arlene from last week. Neil mentioned last week another device which could be used instead of a stun gun. What device was it?
Oh, yes. Electric Rose. He was using a ZVS driver. I've never done that myself, so I can't answer any questions on it, but I do have one posted that you can build in a place like Great Britain where you're not allowed stun guns, and you use a car ignition coil. You can find those at auto parts stores. It is more involved, but it's still doable. I just posted the video on Onion Head Andrew Rumble.
Oh, great. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. I was actually thinking of you when I posted that video.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, so the true nature of targeting. Oh, is there another question?
No, I just wanted to say I think you're doing a great job at the way you're breaking it down and explaining it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's why we're doing this open forum right now, because this is the most confusing part of the paradigm that I'm talking about. Deactivating implants with an EMP, that makes sense. Demagnetizing your body using copper wire, and the other thing, you have to look at the video to make capacitor, basically. It's not that hard once you do it, but this part can be very confusing because it's so huge. So I greatly appreciate your comment. And if anyone's got any questions, moving forward, please. So the true nature of targeting, it's a technocratic, technology with this new form of government is put a set of chains on you with synthetic biology and nanotechnology by deep state human trafficking operators. These deep state human trafficking operators are active in every country of the world. And if they're not active, they very well soon will be if you move there. You are often reinfected with nanotech once you clear it out. And that's again through the corporate food, chemtrails, water sources potentially, and then, the things that go specifically with being a target, like getting your food poisoned when you go out to eat, or getting your food poisoned during a break-in. A lot of times that's what they're doing when they're breaking into people's houses. And then someone stated earlier, getting injected. Yes, they also do that. They will literally break into your house at night, creep and crawl around. There's a certain way they're doing that. I'm not going to cover it right now. We definitely can at a later time. And they're injecting people with needles full of this nanotech, and also implants and other things. The crystalline lattices can only be held together when you are in a weakened acidic state. Now here, this is huge. Okay, so the synthetic biology, nanotechnology only sticks together in your body when you are in an acidic state. Okay, so now we just got the solution. In an acidic state, all of this stuff grows rapidly. And that's because acidity has an electromagnetic correspondence. When you're acidic, you're actually more magnetic. Okay? So in a more magnetic state, this stuff sticks together in your body. So the solution for it is to resolve that acidity. And we're going to cover that in a second. Directed energy weapons interacting with crystalline nanostructures are generating thermal inflammation. So, say that simply, directed energy weapons are interacting with the nanomachinery, synthetic biology, and more or less what that's doing, that electricity that's being sent into your body, is it's creating heat. That heat can be directed at specific organs at specific times for specific function. We call those specific functions mind control, but really it's not real. It is to a certain degree, because if you get really good at directing heat at a person's body at certain times, you can get them to act the way you want them to. That being said, that's all they're doing. And when you put in the directed energy weapons and the nanomachinery, that's a lot for sure. But at the end of the day, it's directing heat along these artificial pathways, artificial nervous systems, nanomachinery, polymers, synthetic biology, whatever you want to call it, into these organs, causing this heat reaction. And that's why you can resolve temporarily a lot of your attacks with just using cold. That's how that's working. And this, just for a general point, is there a question?
I do have a question.
Please.
I noticed I started getting hot flashes all of a sudden, but I know that everyone we're all taught that women go through menopause and they get these hot flashes. Okay,
Yeah.
but I had to put you through this, but I had a regular menstruation all the way up until January of last year, and I always ate organic. Not always, but I ate pretty good. I didn't have any symptoms when I would have my cycle like most women do, but I feel like they did something that made me stop my cycle just after 2 months of irregular cycle. I had no cycle again from then on, and then I started having hot flashes within about maybe 8 months of that. So it's like
yeah, no, that's a great. This men go through this too. These hot flashes when you're. So I don't. Just because of your targeting, I would lean to say that this is due to targeting more so than you know your body. You know your body. And I'm gonna take your word for this one. And what I can tell you definitively is this has happened to me many, many times. And how it happens is you breathe these heavy metals and synthetic heavy metal compounds. And if they're thin enough, you don't even perceive it. You might get a little bit of dry mouth. So that's what you'll look for from now on is dry mouth, breathing this crap in. And when it gets breathed in, the directed energy weapons can pull it almost immediately out of the blood supply through your face. It literally will be pulled through your face. And as that process, as this process happens, your body will try to counteract that by sweating to cool it down. And so you'll get this intense hot flash that will go over. It doesn't have to be your face, but oftentimes when these human traffickers are trying to get a good reaction out of you, or what I mean by good is, torture you, is they'll do it to your face to create the most effect because you have so many nerves in your face.
They do it to me every morning. That's what I wake up to.
Yeah. That's
other times, but that's. Let me stop going off. Let me let you finish. But thank you for answering that.
Hey, I got one real quick question. You said to counteract that, you said something about coal. Was you talking about coal as in black charcoal or just coal?
Oh, just cold like ice.
Oh, I see. Got you.
Yeah, ice will counteract a lot of that. But what's happening to our last caller, that was just talking, is that
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No. It's great. She's breathing this particulate, and the directed energy weapons are pulling it out of her face. Okay, that's what's creating the hot flash. The best way to counteract that is to figure out where the particulate's getting into your environment, your bedroom, it sounds like, because it's right when you wake up. It's probably your window, and start trying to counteract that there. And if you can't, because you live in an apartment, for example, and you can't change anything, you can't seal anything, that type of thing, you can build those copper fans on Onion Head Andrew Rumble, and that helps greatly demagnetize the particulate. It helps the particulate fall to the ground, and so you don't breathe it in. There's also other things you can do, but I just don't want to get too far off on that, because that's a whole nother conversation, how to deal with the particulate being released into your environment. So for most people, not most people, I say half and half, you have experiences breathing these different smells and stuff and having reactions, but in the other half of people that are targeted, you don't. And the reason for that is because they keep the particulate thin so that you don't wise up to it. But almost every target is breathing this crap in, because this heavy metal and synthetic heavy metal compounds are building the nanotech, and the nanotech is crucial for what their human trafficking operations are. So they're going to want this crap in everybody, and when you breathe it, it goes through your lungs into your bloodstream and then can be deposited wherever. And it will be deposited to the implants that are being triggered at that time, or to the directed energy weapon pulses that you're being hit with at that time, or both. And usually it's both. I know that was a lot. So if anybody's got any questions. Okay. So the preferred conditions to cultivate synthetic biology, Morgellons nanotech, Morgellons is synthetic biology nanotech, is an acidic internal environment, heavy metal and synthetic heavy metal particulate, and slow digestion, constipation. Now that's huge. As you're being targeted more and more and more, they want to stop you from eliminating these particulates. All right, they want to basically make sure that you don't sweat, that you don't poop correctly, that you have kidney pains to stop the filtration of your blood through the kidneys, and basically keep you in a sedated state. And in that sedated state of general fatigue and dehydration and mineral deficiencies, you become even more magnetic, because that's what acidic really is. Acidic equals magnetic. Magnetic equals a good condition or a good state environment for the nanotech to proliferate throughout your body. The more nanotech you have in your body, the more electricity can be generated when you're hit with directed energy weapons. And that's why they poison the food, the air, and the water, whether on a macro scale across a wide swaths of society, or when you leave your house and they break in. That's why they're doing all of that, is to keep you in that acidic state. And this right here, I've got a little chart here for people that can't see. It's a pH balance chart. And it's got acidic on one side and alkaline on the other. And what's associated with acidic is a positive charge. Another way to say that is magnetic. And what's on the other side is alkaline and a negative charge. And another way to say that is dielectric. Now, we don't have to get too far off in the weeds about that. But this is to say that if you can find clean, fresh food, raw vegetables, that's your best remedy for immediate solution. You can make your symptoms go away by eating a raw onion. And that's why one of the reasons I've called myself Onion Head is because for years of my life, I ate raw onions, raw garlic when I could get them. And if I could get them right now, clean sources, I'd be still eating them right this minute. I'd literally be chopping on them as I was talking to you, because my head would be even clearer and it'd be even easier to articulate these points. I was eating grapefruit peels, orange peels, fruit peels. Citrus peels are very, very powerful too. They have a very powerful negative charge. But drrobertyoung.com, his whole alkaline diet is probably a good starting point for most people to understand the foods you can eat that will resolve the acidic conditions and allow nanotech to fall apart in your body. That being said, it is number 3 in the paradigm. So before you focus on this, you'd be best to do deactivating implants and demagnetizing your body by building those braces. You'll get much more out of that when you go to detox. When you go to detox after you've done step 1 and 2, it'll be much more long-lasting and much more powerful.
What is it? Kangen water, Rangen water?
Kangen water is alkaline, and that will help you.
Okay.
So synthetic biology, nanotechnology, it needs an acidic state to flourish in, which we just talked about that. And there's an electromagnetical theory behind that we don't need to go over right now. When the bonds in synthetic biology are weakened by an excess of electrons, it falls apart. So that's just to say when you induce alkaline electrochemicals from food over the nanostructures, it falls apart. It loses its sticky quality. Your body is naturally compressing upon itself all the time. Like, for example, if you get a cut, blood pours out, right? And it pours out because it's under compressionary forces. And when you provide that opening, it loses that compressionary capacity in that area and comes out. So that same compressionary forces that makes your blood come out when you're cut, is your whole body is under those forces. So when you take out the magnetic charge in your body, those hydraulic compressionary properties will help break apart the nanotech. And that's also why if you have an opportunity to work out, and you're in good health, do it. Because facilitating sweat and these compressionary forces in your body is so helpful to resolve magnetism. Now, I've also done that when there was times in my life when I couldn't get clean food and all I could do was pretty much nothing. What I would, like I couldn't go anywhere to get anything, that type of thing. I would work out and I would fast. When you fast, it also helps your body increase its compression. That's more or less what's happening. When there's not food in your intestines for your intestines to compress on, your body starts compressing upon itself everywhere to look for those nutrients where it can find it. And it will literally take the nutrients isn't the right word, the electromagnetic properties from nanotech and consume it for your energy to function when you're in a fasting state. So that's something that everyone should take away from this. If your symptoms are really, really bad, start fasting or start getting the habit of fasting. Because the more you fast, the better you're going to feel in general. That being said, don't be dumb about it. Don't starve yourself. Moving forward, we already covered this. Internal solutions. So this is some great solutions that I was just covering a little bit, is mastering your body's natural processes. It's probably the most important aspect of getting rid of this nanotech. And what I mean by that is if you're getting constipated, eat some fiber, right? If you know you need to be moving around, go exercise. If you know you've got chronic inflammation in a part of your body, try to resolve that. Because anywhere that there's that inflammation, there's going to be that nanotech buildup. And then at the bottom, I have learn how to fast. Oh, and then what I said earlier, learning the acidic versus alkaline paradigm for healthy eating at drrobertyoung.com will help you very much. And drrobertyoung.com, ironically, got targeted for creating that paradigm. That's how powerful it is. And if it wasn't for the food being so heavily tampered with, poisoned, whatever you want to call it, here in this area, I wouldn't have figured out all this other stuff because I would just be eating so healthy that I wouldn't need any of this other stuff. And that's what I was doing. I was eating raw vegetables that were very potent, had a lot of alkaline qualities to them that were detoxing this nanomachinery quicker than they could use it to target me. Even with the implants still going. This was years ago now. One of the ways you can find alkaline food, I covered it earlier, is by buying clean food from farmers in your area. You can get clean water from local wells in your area if you can find people willing to sell it to you. I used to go door to door to get that. That can be a hard thing to do. Some people will do it, and say, please take it. I appreciate someone using this water for good, and other people will run you out, be scared of you, that type of thing. To detox in general, one of the most important things to do is to eat lots of fiber. The faster you keep moving your poop out of your body, the better you're going to be. Inside that poop, inside that is very magnetically charged. The more waste you have in your colon plaqued up there, the more magnetically chargeable your body will be. The more magnetic charge your body can hold, which should be a better way to say it. In fact, usually when people die of chronic inflammation, they're constipated. And so it goes hand in hand. Chronic inflammation comes to people when they're constipated. It sounds very simple, but it can be very powerful if you use it correctly. Detox through your colon by continuously eating fiber. That's one of the best pieces of advice I could ever give about detoxing nano. That just goes into some theory. There's some theory up here. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you name some good fibers?
Well, there's two types of fiber in general. There's soluble fiber, and that means it dissolves in water, and then non-soluble fiber. Soluble fibers would be like beans, for example, or plant matter in general that you regularly eat would be soluble fiber. Let's say like corn. That's a soluble fiber. Non-soluble fibers are like unprocessed oats or even like grass. If you went outside in your yard or wherever and got a thing of grass and just chewed on it and swallowed it, that's a non-soluble fiber. Eventually you're going to poop that out, no problem, and it's going to force all the stuff. It's going to clean your colon as it pushes its way out because it's non-soluble. So to have a good habits with this, you would eat soluble and non-soluble fibers. What I did for my non-soluble fibers for years was eat unprocessed oats. I got those like literally horse feed. I got that unprocessed oats from a farmer, and he did sell that for horses, but it was clean. It was just oats that hadn't been rolled or left in water or anything. So when I ate it, it came out the way it came in, and that scrubbed the colon clean.
Did you cook it?
No, I didn't. I just ate it raw.
You crunched it up in your mouth?
Yeah. I got strong teeth. But it's not for everyone. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but just Google soluble and non-soluble fibers to get an idea. But non-soluble fibers can... Go ahead.
What if I'm just trying to buy the highest quality oats at the health food store? Like thick rolls?
Yeah, so those oats are going to be rolled out and they're going to be processed. And when they're rolled out and processed, they become soluble fibers. But if you go to the health store, and you go through the racks of their spices and stuff, you'll find non-soluble fibers contained within them. For example, cinnamon bark. That's a non-soluble fiber. Your body does not break apart those pieces of bark. It breaks them down, but it doesn't break them apart. So that will work similarly as eating unprocessed oats. You'll find lots of non-soluble fibers when you start looking for them. But mixing those two you get the best results. Because soluble fibers are softer, they're easier to process, but non-soluble fibers really scrub. It's almost like sandpaper. Like, I don't mean to be too explicit about that, but it will scrub your colon clean. Another thing you can do to help with detoxing is shaving your skin with oil, not motor oil, like mineral oil or castor oil. When you shave with those oils, what will happen, you'll look down at your razor and you will literally see the plaque that's built up on your skin. It'll look kind of like rubber cement on the razor once you've shaved it off.
Can you recommend a good razor?
I just use the cheap ones, and what I do is I rip the strip, the glide strip that's on all of them. I just rip them off.
With your hand, I had trouble doing that.
Yeah, well then find another razor brand that you can, because some of them pop right out. You just kind of look around. But yeah, get those glides off if you're going to use cheap razors. If you're going to use expensive razors without the glide strip, that's probably better. But
could you recommend a brand?
I think the Walmart generic ones you can easily rip off the glide strip, if I remember correctly. The Walgreens generic ones are a little bit harder, but you can get those off too. But you're going to need to look for yourself. You'll be able to see in the bag if you can rip it off or not.
Thank you.
That helps greatly. It opens the pores and allows for even more detox. Okay, so that's just the introduction to nanotech, what it is, why we care about it, how it works, and then some solutions, and then the big theory. The big theory behind all of it is that this nanotech requires this magnetic conditions to to work well in. Anyone have any general questions?
See,
so I got a quick question. So basically, the fiber that you could eat, I think you was talking about fiber when you said this. The one that you could eat that comes out the same way it goes in, that's a good kind that scrubs your colon?
Yes, that's the non-soluble fiber.
Okay.
Yeah, soluble just means dissolves in water, but that's what that health food people call it, soluble or non-soluble fiber.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of Go ahead.
How about steel oats? Is that good, steel oats?
Yeah, I would eat, like I said, those raw oats. But you could literally, to get non-soluble fiber, that's like the easiest thing to find. You just got to have plant material that you can eat that won't poison you, more or less. Like you could, for example, I know it's going to sound crazy, but you can literally use the leaves of a lot of trees. Not all trees. I'm not saying go around eat all trees, but you can literally eat the leaves of, like, here in the Pacific Northwest where I'm at, these rhododendrons. You can eat the leaves of those, and that's a non-soluble fiber.
But if you was in a grocery store, the same leaves and grass you're talking about, would that be replaced with, like, maybe kale or lemongrass, or it's just not the same?
No, that, like, wheatgrass at the grocery store would have the exact same effect.
Okay.
Kale would have a similar effect. I believe it's like in between soluble and non-soluble because it compresses so much by the time it exits you. It doesn't, like, really have that scrub factor. There's a few other things. Psyllium husk, that's in between. I think that's a soluble fiber, but it operates like a non-soluble fiber. So that's really potent stuff too. It scrubs, but it's a soft process.
Okay, I see.
Psyllium, that's Psyllum, husk.
Gotcha.
Andrew? Hello?
Yep, I'm still here.
Hi. I heard that kimchi actually breaks down the plastics and helps to eliminate that. Have you tried that yet?
No, I haven't. I've heard similar things. It is acidic, however, so I don't really know how that plays out.
So what if you were to take the capsule, in other words, the dried live kimchi? Do you think that might also still be acidic?
I'm just not sure. It's definitely an idea worth experimenting with. Once you understand the nanotech part of all of this, then you can figure out as you move forward. You will figure it out because this is the information that most of you have been missing.
Right.
It's the big secret to all of this. It's not just directed energy weapons. It's these nanotech that's proliferated throughout your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
What about ginger, I guess, in water or whatever, and honey?
Yeah, ginger is very powerful antioxidant. It alkalizes your blood. So if you get a clean ginger source, that's a very strong thing to use. As is
honey?
onion. What's that?
Honey.
Yes, if you can find a unprocessed honey, will help you immensely. But don't overdo it because it's still got a lot of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, what do you think about sulfur crystals?
You know, I've had a lot of great result with sulfur. I just haven't done it in a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But at one point I did have great results with sulfur. But like as of right now, I'm not depending on minerals or health food store stuff. What I do is I just fast. I can feel this stuff build up in me, and when I feel it, because I've been tuned into it for a long time, I just stop eating. I go a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever I need to, until I feel like it's gone, until the swelling goes down, and then I'm back.
Can you hear me for a question? I'm outside, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I can hear you.
Okay. So I'll just mute after I ask a couple questions. To be able to do that, did you practice fasting? Did you intermittent type fasting to practice to get toward being able to do it? That's one question. And then the other question is, when you're doing the raw foods, do you lean toward fruit or do you lean toward non-starchy vegetable? And I'll mute.
To the first question is, I worked trades when I still could, and so it was natural to fast for me every day. I wouldn't eat when I was working because it would slow me down, and I'd be doing maintenance or construction or something like that, and I didn't like it. I was a carpenter, and the second, so I built up to it, and once you get over that first day, 24 hours of not eating, the next day is not that hard. And the third day, it starts to get hard again. Fourth day, it increases in its difficulty. But you'll build your capacity to do it as you practice. The second question, I lean towards the most potent of vegetables, which would be like onions and garlic. Anything like that gives you that big reaction. When you eat like horseradish or onions or garlic, you'll start snotting immediately, like all this mucus will come out of you. That's how you know it's an alkaline bomb, right? When you start getting these rapid detoxes, then you'll know you've got something that's worth your while. So for example, if you took a thing of onion or garlic and you cut that up, right, and fairly fine, and then you put it into like a bowl or something, and in that bowl you put some sort of citrus fruit. The citrus fruit would actually help the onion and the garlic or horseradish or anything like that, ginger potentially, anything really potent like that, would help break it apart so that when you ingested it, it would be even quicker acting. And I used to do that too when I could get clean garlic and clean pineapple. I used to mix those. And you don't do it for the taste. It's just purely to resolve the attacks. When you're being attacked really harshly, if you put these things into your body, you will immediately notice a reprieve.
Andrew, sorry, what do you think about bentonite? In Italian is bentonite, I think in English is bentonite, and zeolite that should be useful to detox from heavy metals, zeolite and bentonite. What do you think about?
I think those are great chelators. Anything that's chelating heavy metals, which is binding them and then helping you detox them, is going to help you a lot. That's a great point. I should have put that in the presentation. Great point.
But Andrew, would you say that it shouldn't be nano-sized zeolite, right?
Well, see, I'm not sure. I don't really know, to be honest. Probably not, but I would think there's a lot of evidence that anything on the nanoscale is harmful. So probably, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's what Sabrina Wallace says. She said, keep away from anything that says nano. It's dangerous and it's technology. Andrew, can I ask you what you know about lipid packets?
Nothing. Sorry. I wish I did, but I don't.
Andrew, since we're being targeted, and I guess we are being monitored by our torturers 24/7. Can they look at our bodies and then decide, I'm going to attack her here and then over there and up here, and do they have like a screen where they see our body and decide what to attack us first and second and third and all that?
Yes, 100%. If you have the implants in you, it's very, very easy for them If you don't have the implants in you, they can still do it, but not nearly as easily.
I see.
100%. Great question.
Is there a difference, Andrew, between, because I get a sense that sometimes people are actually doing it, the perps are doing it, and then it's been taken over by AI at certain times of the day. It's just running, on its own, and then somebody will intervene, and it's a particular time of the day. I notice a pattern of the attacks.
I would say that's probably the case. I wouldn't know for sure. I mean, the only people that would are the people operating these systems. And then, each team is going to be potentially operating differently. For example, since, I don't know, the last 5-6 years, something like that, I know more or less for sure that there's more than 3 people in my general area always awake, operating on me, or trying to. But that's not to say that it couldn't be that some people out there are, the majority of the time, these automated systems are being utilized on them. Whether they're AI or not, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, because I notice when certain people are in the area, it goes really down. If the police are going to knock my door, it'll go down to a 0.5, so it almost gets turned off. And I get the sense that these devices get sent away when the police are going to come. And, if somebody's going to visit, like the gardener or the window cleaner, so certain times of the day it's off, and then other times, during the evenings, that's when it will kick up, when the postman's not going to be around, But definitely
So if, for example, you brought up the postman. A lot of postmen in the United States, I don't know about Great Britain, but in the United States are heavily involved in this program. They'll literally get mail routes. They're veterans, U.S. military veterans primarily, and they'll get these mail routes, particularly on targeted individuals, the ones that are involved in the human trafficking, so that they can make sure that certain mail doesn't get to us, right? And let's just say, for example, if that were the case here where I'm at right now, and this mailman who is in on the take, the human trafficker, right, take, which he is the one that currently runs this mail route 5 days a week or something like that. When he was getting close, they might release less aerosols to not impact him, right? And for you or me, that would be perceivable as we would be breathing less heavy metals, less synthetic heavy metal compounds, and immediately the result of that would be that the directed energy weapons wouldn't be as effective. Okay, but that's not what they're doing here. What they're doing here is that because this guy is involved, at a higher level, not the highest level by any means, but a higher level, he'll be part of the instigations. So he'll rev his mail truck, and at that exact moment, a directed energy weapon will hit me, which will access the nanotech, which will cause a greater reaction in my body that they're syncing to the sounds of the vehicle. That's how instigations in general work. Right? So I couldn't particularly answer your question, but that's the best I could do. I wouldn't know unless I was there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'll put that to you in an email. Can I ask you one more question about window film, blue window film? That reflective stuff.
Yeah.
I've tried to get some, and you can get anything. You can get the silver, you can get the grey, but the blue is so hard to come by. It blocks ultraviolet. Is that useful?
Yeah, I mean, if it blocks ultraviolet, for sure. I think a lot of the lasers they're using are just out of visible light in the ultraviolet spectrum. So if you could get ultraviolet blocking window tint, I would definitely do that. That's a good idea. That's how they're starting those wildfires too here in western United States. It's with those ultraviolet lasers, or just out of visible light.
Because apparently blue holds the most information, the color blue, or the blue wave, as opposed to the red that is very long and low. You look like you're suffering, dude. Is it time to wrap up? Is it time to put something?
That's funny that you say that. Well, they're going to hit me as hard as they can when I do these presentations. It's not what you're saying at all. But the best they're doing right now is hitting this one spot as hard as they can. And there is stuff I can do. I can wear certain things. I can help demagnetize that one spot, right? But I want to keep my face visible for everyone. So, no, we can keep going. I appreciate your thoughtfulness.
Andrew, the human traffickers, there are a lot of people, as you say, military veterans that are involved in services that you get for different things, that you get services in where you live. Do they become employees for this program, attacking their neighbors and the local population just to get money, the military veterans?
Yes, it's a money scheme. The Fed is dumping, here in the United States, the federal government is dumping endless amount of money into this. And technically these people are, they work for private security firms that are contracted through federal grants. Yeah. But in reality, what it is it's an informal network of people that usually serve together, or people that know people that serve together, or their families. And they're trying to get as much money to do this as possible. That's what it is at the end of the day. Everything else they say about community watch and all that stuff, it's just lies they tell themselves to sleep better at night.
So they don't care about the golden rule that you don't do unto others what you wouldn't do unto yourselves, you know.
No, the U.S. military, the militaries of the world, it's not just U.S. military, but the U.S. military is one of the worst. They beat that out of them. That's what the whole follow orders thing is. So these people have abdicated their free will. Well, I guess they're utilizing their free will, but more or less they would claim they're following orders, and if they didn't do it, someone else would. I've met so many of these people. I've met Americans, Israelis, Canadians, Mexicans, Costa Ricans, Bolivians, Brazilians, all involved in it, and they all more or less have the same temperament, which is I don't care, I'm getting paid. Who cares? No one's going to stop. No one's going to stop this. If it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 out of 10
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah,
wow. Can I say something really quick, though? I'm sorry, but I can't take it anymore. Who's getting on the mic and coughing and doing the gang stalking bull crap?
I don't know, Gina. I was about to tell them.
Is that you? Putting on the yellow
to tell them, Gina.
And everything.
I was about to say
that's gang stalking behavior. Stop it.
Excuse me. Can I ask a question?
No. Please. Let me speak to Onion Head right now, if you don't mind.
Sorry,
Onion Head. You've got to learn how to mute these people, because it is so distracting out here hearing them overpower your conversation.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Anybody who is on the computer, then you're not speaking, you need to mute yourself. Anybody who's on the phone and you're not speaking, you need to do a *6, because you are distracting us out here. Please do that if you're not talking.
And this is why people have moderators.
Right, exactly.
So I'm sorry I have a little background noise. I'm in the grocery store, but are the actual are the revving engines weaponized themselves, or that's just a distraction?
You muted, Andrew.
I'm sorry?
Poor Andrew's muted himself.
Oh.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You, Andrew.
I got you. Thank you, I appreciate it. They sync the weapon systems to the sounds. So they'll rev the engine. It's not that the engine's weaponized. They're hitting you with directed energy weapons directly proportionate and real time to the sounds you're hearing.
So the sirens also?
Yes, they'll anchor whatever they can.
But where are the weapons coming from? That's what
drones, your neighbors' houses, and other mobile platforms.
So they sync it. So in other words, they don't like sync the sound frequencies of the. They don't like actually merge it with the sound frequency. It's just two separate beams or whatever, right? Two separate.
Yeah, that's about right. The sound is real time linked to the directed energy weapon. So when they rev the engine, the directed energy weapon will intensify. And the idea for that is that it anchors auditory cues into you, right? For the mind control part of this.
Okay.
So that potentially later on they don't need to hit you with the DEWs, the directed energy weapons. They can just hit the sound, and your brain will recreate that pain feeling. And
even if you don't react emotionally to it.
Yes, even if you don't react emotionally, because it's not about that is part of it actually, but it's more about the nanotech being triggered, sending the electricity into your brain to fire these synapses off.
Okay. Can I ask another question? I had I guess the CT scans and X-rays of your chest and lungs aren't good either, right? They're all that radiation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I had 6 months ago, the doctor said I had inflammation in one lung. I've had serious breathing problems, and not that bad, but in one lung. And then she said 6 months later, a CT scan showed and that part was gone, and the inflammation was in a different part of my lung. But I had a nano rash on my chest and on the left side there by my lungs, and ever since then, my breathing issues got worse. So can you say anything about that? About why it would, if it's caused by them, why it would move, or
Yeah, because your left lung, like I was saying, so when you're breathing these particulates in, they're getting pulled from your lung or bloodstream as fast as possible. So your left lung, because it's on the left side of your body, and they're trying to hold up all this nanomachinery on the left part of your head, your left lung is going to be hit the hardest. Does that make sense?
Well, that's funny, because I've had pneumonia like too many times for a healthy person over the years, and at least 8 times, and it's always get the pain in my left lung. But they can cause pneumonia by putting poisons on your door handle, or do you think they do it with DEWs?
Primarily with particulates, the aerosols being released by your spook neighbors, and then them being triggered with directed energy weapons. So check your breezeways where you're getting drafts. Where you're getting those drafts is where you're going to be getting the particulates that you're breathing that's causing the pneumonia.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that will make so much sense in the next week when you look for it. Is there any other questions?
Is there anything that you know of to do about the sounds? Like, I have somebody that lives right near me, and he's often hammering or chainsawing or slamming car doors or coughing, all these different noises. It's really hard on me. Do you know anything to do about that?
Okay, so there's 2 things to be said about that. Number 1, that guy is most likely a human trafficker. Okay? He's actually involved in the inner circle of human trafficking.
Okay.
Number 2.
I'm very aware that he's involved, yes.
Okay, yeah. But he's not just like a citizen informant. He's like real deal bad guy. Number 2?
Real deal bad guy, family member, and the hammering and stuff either it's just real sporadic and gets on my nerves, or it correlated with my movement. It's definitely pertaining to me and what I'm doing and where I am.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. That's those instigations tied to the directed energy weapons. So when he bangs his hammer, he's got like a phone app open. So I think that's what it is primarily. I've seen people do this, but I don't know what it is all the time. But I've seen the phone app, not the phone app itself, but the people with the phone out. And what they'll do is they'll hit whatever they're hitting, and the phone will pick that up. I believe most of the time, and transcribe that in real time to the directed energy weapon pulse that's sent to you. The best thing to do for that is to deactivate implants, demagnetize your body, and detox nanomachinery. When you move through those 3 steps, you'll still get the noise instigations like I do, but they won't affect you. It'll be like it used to be, where you'll just hear loud noises and be like, that's really annoying. But that's it. You won't be like, that's a voltage going through me.
Thank you. Andrew?
You're welcome.
Hi,
Andrew,
I have a question.
Let me ask a couple of questions before. So then, for that breeze that is coming in, we need to seal perfectly all the windows. And how do we get the ventilation only out of the box fans? How does air come in?
So that's what they're masters of. Excuse me, I'm burping. From breathing this stuff in, by the way. You're not going to be able to seal perfectly, but you should attempt to. You should attempt to seal as best as you can. Once you do that, you're going to be pretty creative about how you're going to generate breathable air, right? At one point in my life, I made a bivy sack, which is to say like a sleeping bag out of a plastic material, and I would sleep in that. And then in the middle of the night, when all the usable air was used up in that bivy sack, I would open it up frantically to breathe fresh air or chemtrailed air, whatever. But I ran out of air. So to answer your question, ozone machines, I know we talked about that, Lilian, are fantastic. Spark gap machines create ozone also. They're fantastic for that. And then elsewise, they're going to be able, because they've got these really powerful weather weapons. I mean, that's what the HARP station stuff is. And then they've got more localized stuff, like the directed energy weapons that push and pull this stuff into your breezeways and into your breathways. So you're just going to have to be real clever and look at your particular situation. But that's the ongoing battle, even with me. That's the one way that I'm even getting hit right now, is because they're dumping so much particulate in my environment.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes at night when you're in the dark, you see like a white light inside of your head that turns around your head. I don't know if it's coming from your eyes or hitting your eyes. Is that some kind of a satellite? What could that be?
My best guess is that's an ultraviolet laser. It's one of those lasers that's in the sublight, or higher than light, that we just can't see in visible light. That's my best guess. And it's causing inflammation. That's what you're seeing.
And what do we do to shield from that? We have to have our head completely covered and totally so that ultraviolet light doesn't come into our head and turn around. Like it looks like almost like a searchlight, going around the face.
Yeah, they're really trying to torment you with that. Because normally it's just a flash for me, but there are, if you think of like a mirror or reflective surfaces will reflect it. So if you think about what that means to you, what I've decided more or less is that I'm not going to worry about things to a certain point. So like when they go to flash my eyes with that, I'm just not going to care. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to wear, mirror-like properties over my eyes when I sleep. Or like certain metals, like aluminum, for example, over my eyes when I sleep. I'd rather just deal with the flashes. But if I figure out something in the future, I'll definitely post it.
Yes. Thank you.
I've tried the aluminum. It doesn't work. I think it goes straight into the nerve, because I've actually used that aluminum over my eyes to try and stop that flashing, and it doesn't work. But I am going to give that film a try, that infrared blocking blue film.
So the issue with any one particular thing you would use for shielding is that they can tune up or down to try to get around it. So, for example, if aluminum worked for me for whatever, and it has before for that purpose, then they could very easily, over time, tune up that weapon system to a higher frequency and potentially penetrate through it, or to a lower frequency and potentially go around it. There is.
But then wouldn't you double it? That's what I would usually do. Put another layer, make it a little bit thicker.
There is a potentially there is a better, that I just remembered, a better solution than aluminum. If you guys want this, Mylar. Mylar is very reflective of ultraviolet rays.
Good.
That's like in those emergency blankets.
Yes.
Yeah, that helps.
If you're a smoker, mine are all covered in smoke, in brown smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I spoke to who's that British guy? Can't remember his name now. He's the guy that oh God, he's a professor, and he used to work with microwave energy, and I can't remember, his name escapes me now. He's really old.
Barry Trower, right?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. He said mirrors as well. He said, surround your bed with mirrors. They will, reflect the light. So you can get these little tiny mosaic mirrors that you can stick on different things, like a headband or something like that. There. I don't know how useful they are, but yeah, he said mirrors will just reflect it back.
Yeah, and then we get back into and I'm not saying don't do it, definitely do it if it's something you want to do. But we get back into them tuning up or tuning down. And eventually what you'll, let's say like you layered Mylar and mirror, right? Maybe at that point they would have to tune up so much that it would no longer function like it did before. But that's basically what you're trying to do when you shield. You're trying to get them into a frequency that no longer functions like they want it to. Which would be, in this case, shine your light. Shine your eyes with that bright light.
Hey, Onion Head, can I just, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, now we know that Pete Hegseth is the Department of Defense's Secretary of Department of Defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he knows about this?
Guaranteed. Yeah, they all know about it. They all know.
Because he talks very little about anything, and that's why I was wondering it seems to be very naive and doesn't know too much about anything really. So I'm just wondering, why does he not address or at least say something that gives some sort of indication that there is something going on in that Department of Defense? And by the way, it's not the DOD anymore, it's the DOW now, Department of War. So they have changed the name. But I really would like Pete Hegseth to at least acknowledge something is happening here. But he could do that without even blowing the whole case, but he says absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and so my personal experience, I traveled through Western Americas, or I guess I should say through the Americas, excuse me. And at every point, there were private military contractors operating through either our State Department, the Chinese, the Communist Party, or Israelis. And they all worked together. So I'll give you an example. I was in Nicaragua for 3 months and 3.5 months. And the Nicaraguan government was on the outs from all the different world organizations for a variety of reasons. It's got to do with the ruling class there. When I got there, they had no targeting apparatus. Within 2 or 3 weeks, some team of Nicaraguans came in from the main city to the city I was at, which was Granada, Nicaragua, and they were being directly paid by Israelis, right? The Israelis ran that team. They weren't effective. I knew. I just got around it. That's a long story I'm not getting into. Next, what they did is they brought in truckloads. These Israelis brought in literal truckloads of Ivy League students from United States, Canada, Europe, a whole bunch of Western European countries, and then some Eastern European countries, a bunch of Israelis, and that was primarily it. These people, it was like a camp for them. They were from 23 to 45 years old. The majority of them, their formal jobs were at like the Red Cross or various other NGOs. What I'm trying to say is that they were dual and tri-nationals, right? And they were the ones building the targeting program in Nicaragua. And they had to bribe the Ortega family, or not bribe, but influence them with money to be able to do that. So when it comes to any official at that level of our government, they all know. They all know. Like Kash Patel, I think they all know. I don't know particularly, but you remember like Kash Patel, he had that Israeli girlfriend, or like all those senators that have the Chinese girlfriends. It comes up a lot. What that is their dual and tri-national relations, right? Because that's who's doing all of this. The worker bees at the higher level, the managerial class, they're all like American, Israeli, Chinese, some variant of that. Sometimes they're French, French-American Israelis, or Ukrainian Israelis. That's really common, actually. A lot of Israeli Ukrainians. You get the point, but they're all dual tri-nationals, so they don't really have allegiance to anything besides this system. And they believe that they're doing the best for the world by lying, killing, and genociding as many people as they can. And they don't care how many dumbass military people from around the world they trick to get to do their dirty work, how many spooks they get to sign up, right? So the Pete Hegseth, whatever, however you say his name, of the world, thank you, or the Kash Patels, or even the ones that were in the previous administration, they're all occupying that transnational, international apparatus. That's who their cousins are, their wives, their children. They don't believe in the United States like we do, or Great Britain, or wherever you're from. They believe in this idea of this coming age, and sometimes they are satanic, but that's pretty rare. Usually they're just Ivy League types that don't really care. And
do you think that the goal is to do what they're doing to us, is to do this to everybody? Do you think that's the goal? Or is it just going to stick with a few people?
No, the first goal is genocide, using these weapon systems to kill as many people as they can, as secretly as they can. The second objective is for everyone who survives, for this to be, this is the technocracy moving forward, so that they can control your organs remotely with directed energy weapons and nanotech. Right? So if you don't think or do or speak or say what you should or what you shouldn't, they can directly affect that however, they deem fit. And who are they at the very top? They is the class of royals that are primarily located in Europe, but not always.
Yeah.
If I can tell about this, I think that is a weapon of mass destruction, because we have inside cognitive warfare, psychological operation, microwave warfare, electronic warfare, human activity that are human intelligence activity, OSINT, GeoSINT, SIGINT. So we have so full intelligence activity inside. I'm in Italy, and in my experience, I'm 49, and I detached from the weapon system 4 times in my life. First time after training, like, you know, a Navy SEAL, training like 12 or 13 hours per day. Another time in a fly from Rome to Moscow, Moscow to New York, and in the fly Moscow, New York, I was detached from the weapon system. You realize that because your air are free, your earth are decreasing intensity, your blood pressure, so I experienced this. Another time I was in Rome in a park, but I think that they do that in a false flag operation. And in another time, 3 times, 4 times, and another time when I don't remember the 4th time. But anyway, I think that they are working for a hive mind. If you listen to Robert Duncan was speaking about hive mind concept. So this collective mind, the destruction of the ego of the person to be part of this synthetic global mind. Is a crazy concept because I'm an individualist and I hate communism, you know, and but I think that Robert Duncan was right about this concept, and it's crazy because it's 24/7 every year, every day, every week, every month. Yes, it's crazy, yeah.
And so, Francesco, I don't know how real that idea of the hive mind is. I do know that they are communicating with targeted individuals through brain-to-computer interfaces. I know they're communicating with each other. Yeah. But what I was just talking about was personally meeting these people. I've met hundreds of them. So I'm not just literally hundreds of them. I've met a few of them that have been good people too. And what I'm telling you about my experiences in Nicaragua are, you know, like I've lived it. So these people, like I'm saying, that are dual trinationals, that are working for this global order, for them it's just their life. It's just their lifestyle. They don't. They live. Yeah.
But if you think of the behavioral transformation, they create psycho bomb Manchurian candidate. You have in US a bunch of example of these ex-Navy SEAL, ex-Marines that go to mass shooting in the church, in the school, see that the shoot. But it's the same in Italy. They create the same. We have not the Second Amendment in Italy, so we don't have firearms in the civil, you know. But it's the same because they love this concept of Manchurian candidate. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. No, it's a Manchurian candidate. Yeah, for sure. And Italy is one of the hotbeds for this, as is Switzerland and Germany. That is where these families that have propagated this system, that have the most money and truly in the world, the ones that are unlisted where they're from, is, you know, Rome up to Hamburg or something like that. That's the primary area in which they have set up their fiefdoms from old times, right? Like the Holy Roman Empire, so forth, so forth. But either way, this Manchurian candidate system, it does target military people a lot of the time too, because they have more access to military people. So if you've heard this presentation and think I'm just talking crap about military people, that's not the case at all. So excuse me if that's the way it's come across. Military people are usually, historically, we're the first victims of these weapon systems going back to the 1920s in Tavistock. Tavistock was first developing these weapon systems on shell shock victims. So excuse me if I've come across anti-military people. It's not the people I'm concerned of primarily. It's the system in which brainwashes people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
It would seem that as a strategy, decimating the population of a country, for instance, this country, would and having less people would make it vulnerable for attack, and also to do it against this country would be an act of treason at the same time. Treason against this country and what it represents. But leaving less people, if you have a war, then you have decimated the population. How crazy is that?
Yeah, totally. That's totally what's happening. But it's not necessarily. If you're working, like this is how these people think. If you're working for a higher order and it's inevitable, then is it really treason? That's what they're thinking. That's not what I'm saying. So it's just something that they were born into, or they adopted through their Ivy League education or their military background. That's usually what it is for regular people, how they get wrapped up into this type of stuff. Or they were literally born into satanic families. That's part of this too. And I don't want to get too far off on that because there's so much misinformation around that topic. But I've been to places in the world where these people go and for vacation. I'll tell you the name right now. Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. That is a place that Israeli satanic people and U.S. military satanic people go to vacation. And they do terrible things there. Yeah, you can look this up on the map. I was there literally by accident on New Year's Eve like 4 or 5 years ago. Just literally by accident. And I arrived there, the whole town, there was like 1 out of 10 people were Costa Rican, the rest were Israeli military and U.S. military. And there was people amongst them that literally had sigils, and there was businesses with sigils, and they had tattoos showing children being burned alive, stuff like that. That's not like metal or whatever. And it's hard to describe, but yes, that's a very real factor of all of this at the higher level. It's incredible.
They seem to have then more allegiance to foreign entities overseas of the globalism than allegiance to the patriotism to protect and defend this country.
But again, like if you're a dual or trinational, and let's say your children is half Chinese, right? You'll say you're American and you married a Chinese woman because you got this background, Ivy League or whatever, you're a scientist or military or State Department, whatever it is, or you work for the UN because we know that happens there too. And you've got this child that's Chinese, then you're no longer going to be thinking about United States as this standalone entity. You're going to be thinking about China and United States and the world paradigm. And that's who's doing all of this. And those people, just to make this clear, the majority of people on the ground doing this don't understand how bad the nanotech genocide really is. They understand, like at that level, they understand that yes, there is some in the body technology, but they don't understand it's killing them too. So the end goal for this, so I try to have empathy with this for all these people involved, is 13 out of 14 people dead. That's like, yes, you can say that you're going like, oh, okay, yeah, dual trinational, Israeli, American, Chinese, we're going to protect you. But at the end of the day, can they really say that? Can they really make sure that those people don't get chronic inflammation and disease and die? And the hard truth is no, they can't. So if this is allowed to continue moving forward as it is right now, and all these people die like they plan on dying, right, then it's going to be how the cookie crumbles. It's going to be more or less random. And whoever survives, that 14th person, they're going to be okay with owning nothing. That's that whole you'll own nothing and be happy. We're talking about the how of it right now. They'll never tell you the how. They'll tell you everything else but the how. And when you start talking about the how, they'll try to kill you. but this is the how. And you guys, we could get off on this for a really, really long time, because this is what I know people really want to know this, and maybe in a show we can cover this directly. You know, my experiences, who I met, that type of thing, in a few weeks or something like that. But as far as our lives, we break through all of this when we deactivate implants, we demagnetize our body, and we detox nano. And if enough of us do that here, it stops here. So we can keep looking at the macro, or we can look at ourselves in the micro, and how do we get through this? Yes. And when enough of us individually do this, it's done.
Okay.
I think we should focalize also on the involvement of some U.S. company in this weapon system. These are Palantir for the artificial intelligence, chatbot, voice morphing, and voice to speech generally, Rand, and I think also Raytheon. So there are some contractors in the military that are involved in this weapon system, in my opinion, anyway.
No, and I don't think you're wrong to take like an interest in it, but the much more powerful thing is to get yourself resilient through this moment that you're in as a targeted person, because they are, and I know this is going to sound brutal, but this human trafficking that we're all experiencing here, or most of us experiencing here, is ultimately to kill you as slowly as possible so they can profit off you as long as possible. And I don't want anyone here to die from this.
I would like to see when a real war comes, that may be possible, how many people they will have if they're decimating the population. How many people they would have to defend us.
Yeah, and that goes to a longer conversation about what these theaters of war really are. But, you know, like I said, we could go off on tangent. But let's try to get back to where we're at. Does anybody have any questions about the paradigm? About deactivating implants or demagnetizing your body or detoxing nanomachinery?
Just anything about like helping with the pain.
Yeah, doing all three of those things will dramatically help you. If you move down the order of those things, your life will get so much more easy. The targeting won't stop, but the effects on you will greatly, greatly diminish.
It's like stop the ibuprofen. Don't take any of the over-counter stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, well, try not to. Try to move through the paradigm, because as a targeted person, this is much more relevant in your personal life.
Yeah, and I think that they are so crazy. I think that they are so crazy because they are also attacking, like Robert Duncan told, very important people, like Nancy Reagan that was speaking with dead people. So I think Nancy Reagan was attacked with voice to school and other stuff. Margaret Thatcher that is dead with Alzheimer, I think, yeah. So they are attacking also President of the United States. So these people is really the black part of the state, you know.
Satanists.
Onion Head, you're muted. Unmute, Onion Head.
You are muted. Andrew, you are muted.
No, sorry, thank you. Some of them are Satanists for sure. A lot of them are just dumb and taking the money. Or I guess just taking the money. It doesn't necessarily mean they're dumb, even though that's a dumb thing to do. But yeah, no, it is that black state of the government, like you were saying, Francisco, is the dual trinationals that I was talking about a second ago. This is how they're facilitating things, by the way. And that's why Israel is so important in all of this. Israel is the go-in-between all these countries. For example, United States and China on paper are enemies, right? United States and Israel are allies on paper. And China and Israel are allies on paper. So if I want to facilitate state secrets from one country to another, use Israeli spies to steal stuff from the United States and then bring it to China. And so that's where and that's just one of many things that these dual trinationals are really doing. But another thing they're doing is poisoning the food, the air, and the water. Do you guys remember at the beginning of COVID, there was these Chinese nationals that were swabbing things at the grocery store that were caught on camera here in the United States? Yeah, those were dual nationals. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Those were dual nationals. They might have been trinationals, but they were probably American Chinese. So this whole idea that at the top level that they're fighting each other is just total bananas. It's not real. It's an illusion made for the masses. In reality, at the highest levels of our government and the Chinese Communist Party, or even the Russian government, or just name your government, they're all working together because they're all cousins, brothers, sisters, children are mixed, and they do that on purpose. And then literally, like I said, if you go to certain areas at certain times of the year, you will literally come across huge communities of these people at once. But they tuck themselves away. And that's what Santa Teresa, Costa Rica was. It was a tucked away little haven for their New World Order bullshit. And like I said, I just stumbled across it one night. And they tried to kill me for it too. I barely made it out of there.
Wow. They have no borders either, do they? They don't understand. They don't recognize borders.
Sorry for interrupting you. Yeah, they don't believe in borders. You're exactly right. That's again another, and they can get into any country at any time with these dual and trinational and all these ends that they have with whatever government they're working with.
Well, you remind me of Robert Maxwell, which is Giselle Maxwell's father, who's dead now. He was a Russian spy, MI6 spy, and a Mossad spy all at the same time. And
I think he was a French spy too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was MI6. Yes. He was MI6.
Yeah.
But he also owned, the papers that all of the those horrible scientists used for MK Ultra. He owned them, and they are currently in two places, publishing companies that he owned. Pergamon Press is one of them, because he actually owned newspapers in the UK. He was a sort of opposition to Rupert Murdoch in the 70s and 80s, and he was the one that owned those papers. So there's a place called Pergamon Press, and there's another one that I can't remember at the moment. But all of these papers that these scientists used for MK Ultra are still actually available. So you can actually still look up their research on what they're doing now. They were using LSD and what have you then, but as you were saying, Andrew, that the drugs didn't work, and now they're using the technology. But these people are definitely, there's a Satanist level to what they're doing.
Yeah, and for sure. And it is good that we learn about their crimes and how they're doing all these things. But again, our power is far, far greater when we focus on educating ourselves and moving through these trials that we're in. And as we pull through these trials, it will take 1,000 of them to measure any one of us here today. I'm not just saying that. I know that sounds wild, but any one of you here today is worth 1,000 of these people if you move into this information and knowledge and make yourself as resilient as possible.
But they are so crazy. Yeah. Sorry, they have attacked also with the Havana syndrome the vice command of the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI in Miami, some of the CIA, some diplomats. So, what the fuck, I can't explain this because what is this Havana syndrome?
Yeah, no, I can. That's what I've been talking about. And I'm glad you brought that up because I can tie this back into reality very, very easily. These dual trinationals, right? So here in America, the average high-level FBI person doing this is an Israeli American. All right? On this side, through subcontractors, and this isn't against Jewish people. That's nothing to do with Jewish people. This is purely Israeli. Okay? What these people are doing on the side is they are bringing in foreign intelligence. So in Florida, it was Cubans. That's who they were utilizing. And the Cubans were in turn targeting elements of our own government that aren't either involved in the program or are a threat to it. That's what was going on with the Vanda syndrome and the embassy people and all that, is that these people needed to be either controlled or eliminated, neutralized, not always killed. And so that's what happened. And to do that, our own dual nationals, usually American Israelis, sometimes American Chinese, sometimes, pick your country. Usually it's American Israelis, American Chinese, American British, French, that type of thing. They bring these people in here specifically to do this. Venezuelans and Cubans are the primary people they use in the United States to bring in, but they also use West Africans. They use anywhere there's a military presence. They'll bring in these foreign intelligence. And when you think intelligence, you think like, oh, these are some like James Bond types. No. Usually they're like 19 to 26. Usually they have a criminal background. That's who they recruit to be, quote, spies or foreign intelligentsia operating here. They're criminals that will do anything for money usually.
And the way that they cross the border so easily is because they're part of the international criminal trafficking networks, human trafficking networks.
Yeah, definitely. So like where Francesco is, he's in Italy, the people they're bringing in there to do that are North Africans, primarily from Libya, because Libya is a hot mess of crime that what NATO forces did. So there's a whole bunch of criminals they can find there to bring into Italy to do this same operation. In Britain, they're bringing in Pakistanis, right? In Germany, they're bringing in Syrians. You see how it works? They destroy these countries and with their formal military occupations, and then they recruit their intelligentsia from there, and then they ship that intelligentsia in. All right? And Israelis are the primary vanguards of that. They're not the only ones, though. Like I said, the Russians and Chinese do this in mass, too. And they all do it in concert together. And this is how the targeting program is worldwide.
Yeah, it's worldwide. It's incredible. We have so many examples. Also in Italy, we have a young woman. We have really everyone. It's incredible. It's incredible. We have people in the military, in the carabinieri. Carabinieri in Italy is like a gendarmerie in France that are under attack. So it's crazy. Civil people.
And that's a great point. France brings in sub-Saharan Africans because that's where their colonies are, where all the wars that they started are, right? And all the desperate people are for the French colonies. They can get, easy access to France to be, and once they get there, or even before they get there, when they're recruited, either in their country where they're from or in France, they're willing to do whatever. They do not care about the French people, just like the Libyans don't care about the Italian people, just like the Syrians don't care about the German people, and the Syrians that don't care about the Swedish. And this is not to say that every Syrian or every Libyan or every, pick your country, Venezuelan or Cuban is bad. That's not the case at all. They're cherry-picking criminals, and they're running them under these subcontractors that are usually dual national Israelis. Pick your area, by the way. Italy has got a bunch of dual national Israelis, Italian Israelis. France, same thing. Germany, same thing. Again, so this is why Israel is so important in the global scheme of things.
In Italy, we have some contract with the Israeli intelligence, how was called the software? A software to spy on politicians, on military people, on VIP, on a bunch of people, whistleblower and so on. I don't remember the name of the Israeli software, but they are very...
Pegasus.
We have a bunch of contract with the Israeli intelligence in Italy,
Yep, and that's all over the world. And that's not to say that there aren't pure blood, that's a terrible way to say it, but thoroughbred, I don't know, full Americans here, like, you know, the long line of being American, that aren't doing this too at a very high level. And those people are organized through the secret societies, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. But that's how all of this is interfacing. It's all going back to the world monarchs, that is to say, the people that openly ran Europe 200 years ago, their families. And those are the families that control the corporations. And that's why corporations are so heavily involved in targeting. And that's what targeting really is. It's their plan for government moving forward. This small group of royals and all the people they trick or entice to follow, to go along with them. And that's why I try to have empathy with all this.
I think that the long-term goal is a worldwide government, one worldwide coin, one worldwide religion. Yeah. You know, they want the globalism everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're at 6:03. That's 3 hours. I think we got a good amount of time here. If anyone is interested, please get those materials ready for the EMP stun gun. If you cannot, because you live in a place like Great Britain or Italy, then there are other things, the DIY high voltage machine. You can go on Onion Head Andrew on Rumble and look these things up for yourself. My email is listed underneath that. I'm still not sure if we're going to do the workshop, so please email me if you're interested in the workshop, and we'll do that if we have enough. If we have enough people. If we don't, then I think we're going to go back to how these implants are functioning or how to demagnetize. I think people want demagnetize more of that, and I can show you in real time. So we'll figure it out for next week. But email me to contact. Go to Onion Head Andrew Rumble. There's a bunch of relevant videos there that could help anybody, especially the last like 6, 8, 10. And I think we're good. I think we're going to call it for the night.
Hey, Onion Head, are you going to be doing these conferences on a regular basis or occasional?
It's going to be every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be focused.
That's the best news I've heard in a long time, Onion Head. Thank you so much for coming on a regular basis.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus on this paradigm, right? I know we got off a little bit on world government, but that's still good information for people to understand. The paradigm, deactivate implants, demagnetizing the body, and detoxing nano is the education that we all need moving forward.
Thank you. I don't get gang stalked while I'm here by people talking in their mic and sensitizing me with their colors.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Sorry, we're gonna have to figure out a moderator. I'm sorry about that. I hadn't done that yet. I'm still figuring this whole thing out. I appreciate your feedback. All right, may God bless us and God have mercy on us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, 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 tweet. Ooh, 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 ooh.